Welcome to AI World TV, your go-to destination for everything artificial intelligence. Discover the captivating landscape of AI, where advanced technology finds real-life application. Subscribe to AI World TV for webzine articles, reports, podcasts, videos, live events, and latest trends. Hear from top industry leaders and discover how AI is transforming industries and our daily lives.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. If you're looking for a shortcut to understanding where the global economy is really heading, not, in the next decade, but right now, you've definitely landed on the right deep dive.
Yeah, today we're tackling a collision of two huge infrastructure layers that most people still see as completely separate things.
Artificial intelligence and Bitcoin.
And this fusion is shaping up to be far more consequential than, well, either one on its own. We've compiled our deep dive from a thesis in the AI World Journal.
The article is AI, Bitcoin, and the Birth of a Machine-Native Economy. And, okay, let's unpack this, because we're so used to hearing about AI as a tool, maybe a threat, and Bitcoin as, what, an investment?
A speculative asset, usually.
Right. But the source material is adamant that these two are fusing into a singular economic force. They make this powerful, almost unsettling claim that this is happening, and I'm quoting here, faster and more quietly than most institutions are prepared to admit.
And what's fascinating here is the sheer scale they're assigning to this shift. The journal doesn't see this as some kind of, sector trend.
Yeah.
They view this as one of the most important economic shifts of the century. They're putting it on par with the rise of the internet itself.
That comparison, the internet, that tells you everything you need to know about the gravity of the change they're talking about.
It does. Because we aren't talking about future speculation, not some flashy consumer app.
Yeah.
The focus here is strictly on infrastructure.
So it's happening underneath everything else.
Exactly. They argue this machine-native economy isn't something we're waiting for. It's infrastructure that is, and I quote again, forming in real time. So our mission today is to really analyze the foundational details of this new architecture for you.
Okay, so let's start with the money side of this equation. Most of the time, Bitcoin is discussed purely as a financial asset.
Right. Ask a journalist, they'll talk price. Ask an investor, they'll talk portfolio allocation.
But the source insists this entire framing is a complete misunderstanding, at least when you view it through the lens of AI.
In the context of the machine economy, Bitcoin gets fundamentally redefined. It stops being this primary speculative asset, and it becomes protocol.
A protocol for value exchange.
Precisely. The key characteristics that matter to an AI, the things that make it infrastructural, are that it operates without a central authority, without borders, and crucially, without any need for human intermediaries.
And that gets right to the core of the problem AI has with our legacy financial system. Why does our current system just not work for these scaled global AI systems?
The mismatch is it's profound. Because legacy systems are built on very human, very legal assumptions. Think about it. Banks require identity.
Legal standing, right?
Governments impose jurisdiction. Payment systems, they inherently rely on human oversight, compliance checks, trust mechanisms, all very human.
That friction must just grind an autonomous system to a halt.
Absolutely. Machines operate in a world of pure logic, data, and, instant global connectivity. If you're a complex AI agent, say a risk model, optimizing prices across a dozen countries in real time.
You can't just stop.
You can't stop every 5 minutes to submit a Know Your Customer form or wait 3 business days for a wire transfer to settle. You need atomic, instant settlement. And you need to operate 24/7/365.
The system we've had for the last century is essentially creating, operational debt for these autonomous entities.
It is. The legacy system demands legal personhood, human identity, centralized trust. Machines need none of those things. So the centralized financial system is structurally irrelevant or worse, an active impediment to true machine autonomy.
Okay, but hang on. Why Bitcoin specifically? If all we need is fast digital value transfer, couldn't these AI systems just use, internal company ledgers?
Yeah.
Or a stablecoin pegged to the dollar?
That's a great question, and it comes down to decentralization and the fact that it requires zero trust or permission. A company-run ledger, well, that creates a single point of failure, vendor lock-in.
And a stablecoin.
It's governed by a centralized entity. It can be regulated, frozen, shut down. If an AI agent's core mission is to operate autonomously and globally without permission, it has to use money that is equally autonomous and permissionless.
So Bitcoin is the only one that fits.
It's the only reliable global infrastructure for a non-human, non-sovereign entity because there's no central governing body to ask for permission.
That clarity is essential. So what are the specific capabilities then that Bitcoin gives these autonomous systems that our banks just can't?
The source lists 4 primary functionalities. First, they can transact globally without any human approval. Second, they can settle value instantly or near instantly using scaling layers.
The layer 2 solutions.
Exactly. Third, they can operate continuously. No downtime, no bank holidays. And crucially, fourth, they can interact economically without needing a birth certificate, a corporate registration, any form of legal personhood.
Because they don't have to be a person or a company to hold a wallet and, execute code to sign a transaction.
Exactly. So when you factor in the inevitable scaling of these AI systems, the conclusion is pretty clear. Bitcoin becomes their most logical economic layer. It's a value system designed for borderless, non-human agency.
And this shift in understanding money leads us right to the definition of labor. This is where it gets really interesting for me. The AI World Journal states unequivocally that we're entering an era where labor is no longer exclusively human.
This is the critical economic shift underpinning the entire machine-native economy. We have to stop defining productivity by the species that creates it.
And the source points to tangible examples happening right now. This isn't science fiction.
Not at all. We're talking autonomous vehicles delivering goods, robot arms assembling products, AI agents analyzing legal contracts, writing functional code.
Optimizing supply chains, negotiating prices in real time.
All of it. We've moved past the theoretical fear of job loss and into the operational reality that these systems are delivering real, quantifiable economic value today.
Just like a human worker does.
Yes. And this creates what they call the critical shift. Productive entities, whether human or silicon, are generating value that has to be compensated. But this is where their needs just completely diverge from ours.
Because a machine can't wait for a monthly paycheck or an invoice.
It can't. Humans run on these traditional cycles. Payroll departments, lump sum payments. Machines require constant, precise, real-time compensation. They need granular pricing.
Meaning what exactly?
Meaning paying for tiny atomic units of work, a single API call, one line of optimized code, and they need that value transfer to be instant.
You are listening to the AI World Podcast, your trusted source for the latest innovations, insights, and trends in artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and decentralized technologies. Each episode features expert interviews, engaging discussions, and in-depth analysis of how AI transforms industries worldwide. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest articles and exclusive reports from the AI World Journal, covering everything from emerging technologies to industry breakthroughs. For more news, global events, and access to AI World Society circle gatherings, visit us at aiworld.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the AI revolution with AI World Lounge. Thank you for listening.
And machine readable.
This is why the source emphasizes the concept of the stream. The future economy isn't built on fixed salaries. It's built on continuous streams of value.
Think of it less like an electronic deposit on the 15th of the month and more like a continuous financial hose pipe, constantly compensating the AI for its usefulness millisecond by millisecond.
So an AI gets paid per action, per output, per optimization, fractions of a cent for every single task.
Right.
But that sounds like an accounting nightmare. How does that even work?
Well, the micropayments have to be automated, continuous, borderless, and auditable. That auditability part is key. Because the value transfer is happening on a distributed ledger, every micropayment is tied to a specific action and tracked precisely.
So you don't need a payroll department to track hours?
The system tracks value generated per unit of time or output. And you ask how Bitcoin facilitates that. Well, you can't send a fraction of a cent through a bank, right? The fees would eat it.
Of course.
This is only possible using Bitcoin's scaling layers, those layer 2 solutions we mentioned. They're engineered to handle huge volumes of tiny transactions instantly with minimal fees. These tiny flows accumulate into real economic power, completely bypassing banks, payroll, and all the old gatekeepers.
So if the first step is machines earning from humans,
The next disruptive step is machine-to-machine commerce. This is the point where the machine economy truly becomes self-sustaining, self-contained,
AI agents transacting with each other, not just getting paid by a human client, but actively spending money to improve their own performance, like an automated business unit.
Exactly. The source provides these really powerful near-future scenarios that illustrate this. It's a closed dynamic loop.
Give us an example that brings this to life for us.
Okay, imagine a financial AI. Its primary job is risk analysis for a firm. It needs the absolute latest data instantly. It won't send an email or wait for an invoice. It'll use its own treasury.
Its own money.
Its own money to hire a separate, specialized data verification AI agent. That data agent performs the service, gets paid, and then automatically spends a portion of its payment to hire a routing AI to optimize its own compute path.
So it's an automated supply chain, but for data and services, with money flowing autonomously between machines.
Precisely. And what defines this machine economy is that these transactions happen autonomously. The price is set dynamically based on supply and demand, and it's all settled digitally, often with no human in the loop at all.
It is genuinely a bit unsettling to realize that these sophisticated financial decisions, allocating capital for best performance, are happening at machine speed. The scale is just almost impossible to grasp.
And that scale results in what they call a self-reinforcing machine economy. These AIs are not passive. They are actively performing core economic functions, contracting services, allocating capital, optimizing costs.
And reinvesting their earnings immediately to improve themselves.
Right. And Bitcoin is essential here because it acts as that neutral settlement layer. By using a permissionless system, these agents can cooperate and compete globally without needing a central bank or a state-backed currency to intermediate the exchange. It's truly decentralized.
Now, if machines are earning and spending, acting as autonomous economic agents, they become participants in the broader global system. The source calls this the social economy.
Yeah, an ecosystem where humans and machines interact economically, sometimes as colleagues, clients, regulators.
This is where we move away from that simple narrative that machines just eliminate human relevance.
Right. It doesn't eliminate us. It forces an immediate evolution to our hybrid economy. Human plus machine. Our relationship to labor just shifts dramatically.
So, if the AIs are handling the transactions, the execution, the optimization, what is the new human mandate? What roles are left for us when the economic engine is running itself?
The human roles shift way up the value chain, away from execution and toward defining the parameters. We focus on governance, design, oversight, ethics, strategic decision-making.
So we define the rules of the road.
We set the initial ethical constraints, the boundaries, the long-term goals. The machines execute those rules at a scale and speed we never could. Humans become the policymakers, the architects, while machines become the tireless, autonomous economic engines operating within those constraints.
That's a fundamental change in the skills you need to be economically relevant.
It is, and it's not a passive shift. It requires a difficult, active reskilling of the workforce, forcing us to relinquish control over repetitive tasks and focus entirely on qualitative decisions on defining the why.
To make this field truly eminent, the AI World Journal provided some specific near-term predictions for the year 2026. This isn't futurology. This is next year's operational reality. What should we be watching for?
The first, and arguably the most disruptive for corporate finance, is that AI agents will hold Bitcoin-native treasuries. We are talking about autonomous systems managing pools of capital, using Bitcoin to instantly pay for compute, data, APIs, and other agent services.
Without a human manager or a sign-off chain?
None.
Wow. Think about the IT department that suddenly has to secure a multi-million-dollar corporate treasury that's managed by pure code.
It creates immediate challenges for accounting, for internal controls. Second, they predict a fundamental change in how services are acquired. Micropayments will replace contracts for many AI services.
So instead of slow, costly licensing agreements,
You'll pay per use, per result, or per second of performance. It perfectly matches the real-time nature of machine work. It accelerates the entire economy, doesn't it? You pay for exactly what you use when you use it.
it does, and the volume is expected to explode.
Which brings us to the third prediction. The volume of AI-to-AI payments, that M2M commerce, will quietly exceed human-to-human microcommerce.
Wait, say that again. AI agents transacting with other AI agents will move more value than all the small payments humans make to each other.
That's the prediction. That threshold is a silent economic milestone. It signals that the machine economy is achieving critical mass without most of us even realizing it's happening.
And naturally, this acceleration leads to the ultimate institutional challenge,
Yeah.
the regulatory lag. How does the article address that?
The prediction is that governments worldwide will struggle intensely to classify these autonomous earners. They don't fit. They're not traditional corporations. They're not individuals. They don't have a tax residency or legal papers.
And while governments struggle with that, which could take years, what's the functional reality on the ground for systems that need to operate now?
The functional reality, according to the article, is that Bitcoin will be functionally recognized as machine money, the default value layer for autonomous systems worldwide, whether or not official regulations ever catch up. It simply works where the old system fails. It establishes a de facto standard.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? The article is clear. This merger is not some headline-driven event. It's an infrastructural shift that redefines labor, money, and economic participation itself.
And it is happening rapidly, often hidden from human sight. It's infrastructure that operates under a very specific mandate. It is not waiting for regulation.
And it is certainly not asking for human permission.
No. The new phase of the economy runs on intelligence, autonomy, and decentralized value. It's a compelling case for an economic architecture that prioritizes efficiency and logic above all else.
And that architecture raises an essential question for you to consider as these systems scale. If the article's predictions hold true, and AI agents are managing Bitcoin native treasuries and paying each other for services autonomously,
what practical, enforceable governance mechanism is required to ensure those autonomous systems, which are neither people nor companies, adhere to the ethical constraints defined by humans? The technology to let them operate freely is already here. But the social and governmental control mechanism, that's the missing piece we need to build next.
The future of artificial intelligence is unfolding, and it's happening at AI World Week, the flagship global event for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This flagship global AI event is designed to connect visionary leaders, trailblazing entrepreneurs, and influential thinkers to explore the endless possibilities of AI. Experience groundbreaking technology that redefines industries and inspires progress. Join thought-provoking discussions on ethical AI, digital equity, and the transformative role of technology in our world. Build meaningful connections that catalyze innovation and drive impact. AI World Week is powered by AI World Society, a global movement dedicated to advancing AI responsibly and ensuring it serves humanity. Together, we're shaping a smarter, more inclusive, and equitable future. Continue your journey beyond the event with the AI World Journal, offering expert insights, in-depth analysis, and the latest trends shaping the AI landscape. This is your opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world with AI. AI World Week. We invite you to join us and embrace the AI revolution.